Recently, I've been seeing things online where atheists who are being pressed with the moral argument for God, which I think is a sound and convincing argument, which says that because we make appeals to objective morality and we seem to know inherently that objective morality exists, we can know that God exists because God is the only logical, philosophical, and sound foundation of objective morality. And I've been seeing this really weird thing online recently where atheists who are being pressed by the issue of morality are fighting for this idea of subjectivism, which really means that morality doesn't mean anything because it's everyone's opinion. That's the natural conclusion of a subjective, naturalistic morality. But they say, well, morality can't be objective because if God decides what is moral, then it is subjective to God. And I think there are two things that need to be said about that. One, it's a complete dodge. Because even if I were to grant that, okay, morality is subjective to God, God is the creator, and God is the one who imposes morality on human beings, and he's going to judge us for keeping that morality. So it really doesn't change the application of the issue, which is you need to follow what God says. The second thing that needs to be said, and this is what a lot of atheists completely miss, just because they don't think in categories like this, because they're not theists, is God did not decide what is right and wrong. God, according to his nature, is the definition of right and wrong, and so it's through revealing himself and his own character that he reveals what is right and wrong. So it's not as though God, before creating the world, kind of sat up in heaven and said, you know what, I think murder is going to be evil, because that sounds good to me. No, God is life in and of himself, and so taking life would be averse to who God is, and therefore it is evil. And God punishes people who aren't like him by extension of he can't be in the presence of people who aren't like him because his holiness will consume them. So the whole morality is subjective because it's subjective to God is a completely backwards and insufficient argument. Because even if it was subjective to God because God just picked it, you would still be obligated to follow it, at least by the promise of coming judgment, but more realistically, because God created you and has authority over you. But that's not the case. God did not arbitrarily choose what is moral. It's a reflection of himself. And so God is ultimate. Because God is ultimate, this morality is not subjective. It, in fact, also is ultimate.